Good evening and welcome to the first round of the Rainbow Racing F4 Championship here at Lime Rock Park, one of the good old fast and furious American circuits. A classic 3-1 in iRacing, and one that you don't see the F4s very often at, but is going to be an absolute thrill and a joy to run around as we have a 40 to 45-minute race with our drivers as they kick off their championship from zero. I'm Howie Burrows, and I'm alongside Jim Cunningham, also working the cameras and the buttons. I'm reporting live from a cheap hotel in France, but I'll tell you the story about that one later. Jim, how are you feeling about this race? We're about to just get underway, qualifying almost over. I'm getting exposed already getting. And I'm excited to be here as well. What about going from Formula Racing to more Formula Racing? And perhaps, maybe, more will happen here than at Miami. Starting grid should be set. Drivers are finishing their warm-up as they run around the track right now. We'll get that up as soon as possible and lay down the 6 drivers that will be starting this race. It's quite a long one around here. It's going to test endurance and patience. It's very, very easy to overcook these first few corners. Even if you have a lot of aero, this car gets loose and tricky in the back when overcooked. It can be a challenge, and I certainly don't enjoy it with the rookies, but I think this is going to be a much better race.
So actually, it looks like we are still finishing up qualifying. They had 20 minutes of qualifying, so we're going to have a little time to fill. So I'll go ahead and tell you that one of my things I didn't do was properly map my microphone when I set this up this morning. And so that whole first segment where I talked about where you're at, I was completely muted. So we'll just go over that now since we have time to talk. They just started their 5-minute warm-up. So Howie was nice enough to agree to do this race with me, even though he is on holiday. He said he's in a cheap hotel in France, but that's not exactly what he's up to. He is actually in. He is actually in Monaco for the Formula E race. So. Yeah, so he took time out of his weekend to do the Formula E race with me from Monaco, and I certainly appreciate that. So tell us how your day was watching the Formula E cars as you were sending me videos, and just for the record, I hate you for that.
Well, you do get access to a lot of stuff I want to see as well. Let me just put it like that. Sitting down at Saint Devot got very sweaty and very hot. In my defense, tickets for €40. So, I'm not living the millionaire's lifestyle, and that's why I picked the cheapest hotel available in between. Gotta say, I've never been to a city more difficult to navigate. You would think something so packed, tight, and close is like reasonable and easy to get around. But unfortunately, they stacked it all vertically like a Jenga tower and then messed up all the directions. So I've already had to deal with a lot of that one day. I'm going to have to deal with a lot of it another. If I pass out due to energy deprivation halfway through the race, I'm sorry, leaving you with it, Jim. Hopefully I'm better than that.
What's funny is, for obviously you don't know Howie. Howie's in shape, so just imagine some fat old guy like me trying to get around there. It's been my dream to go to Monaco, but maybe not so much if I have to walk. I'm not so sure anymore.
so much walking. I mean, like, you're going to have to walk a lot in any city, but like when you're going up hills as steep as Talladega's banking, you really start to question a lot of things. You really start to think like, okay, is this the best way you guys could have built this all over the French mountains? I'm not too sure about that.
Oh, it's hilarious.
They seem to enjoy it. I'm ready to do it all again tomorrow.
That's I find that absolutely hilarious. But it's I wish that I had opportunities to do something like that. I mean, I guess here in the United States, I'm not that far from COTA, so I could go to the Formula One race. But I don't know. There's just something about the fact that it's Monaco. There's just so much to be said for that,
Well, Lime Rock Park is one of those places I do quite want to see. It's one of those. I mean, I would have got NASCAR trucks coming at one point. It's going to take me quite a while before I can really make a trip to America work. I've got quite a lot going together this year. I'm going to be seeing Formula E again in Berlin later, and London again to finish off the year. Those things race quite well nowadays. Those things get quite close, and at the very least, do they not say the word peloton anymore?
Well, in our conversations over the past few months, you have told me about Formula E, and so I started, you showed me some stuff, so I started watching some, and it's actually quite interesting. I'm really starting to enjoy it, and it's some great racing. Like, Monaco's pretty boring if you are just watching a Formula One race there, because the cars are so big they don't have room to pass. But these Formula E cars can get side by side around there, which was quite impressive.
This is why you go for this race and not the F1 race later this year, because you know how that one's going to end.
Yeah, same way whoever qualifies on pole is going to win.
Well, that just sounds like the entire Formula One season, though, to be honest. That's pretty much how it's going. It could be a different person on pole every time, but those big, fat, dirty air machines are quite miserable little things sometimes.
But, I was surprised by the side-by-side racing of those Formula E cars. Quite impressive,
They accelerate off the line in a heartbeat. They are tiny, tiny, tiny little things. And then suddenly they just get four-wheel drive and just fly around the corners. I need to have a quick eye on how much longer qualifying is going. This is an open qualifying session. Unlike typical iRacing, some people have had about 20 minutes to run around the track. They might still be going.
So, all right. So what we've got here, I'll take this off the screen. They are actually just at the very end of their warm-up segment of 5 minutes. I believe it's 5 minutes. Oh, no, it might be 10 minutes. So we're still 5 minutes away from this race going live, which we're going to change the schedule up next week. We just didn't want to do it today because the times had already been posted. So I'll tell you what we can do, though. We can peek at this. And let's, not that. We already saw that for a good while, actually. Here, I got an idea. Let's cover their schedule real quick while we've got a few minutes to do that. Can you see that there? Or?
Don't worry, I've got a good eye in as well. A lot of free tracks start the season, doubleheader of Lime Rock and Ostersleben. And then we go to Imola and Mugello, two classic Italian tracks. Spa makes a halfway mark. We take a break, and then we go to Long Beach, which is what I definitely look forward to seeing the most, followed by Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Fuji, Zolder, and Fruxton. There's a little bit of F1 in there, but there's also a little bit of variety and some stuff that really stings in these cars. They're quite small. They have a lot less power to them. Very, very excitable on the rear if you push them a little bit too hard, but they draft well, they race well. They're a classic for a reason in iRacing, and they are a really, really great Formula fixture. So I feel like no matter how many people you stick on the grid, these races end up working.
Yeah, I love the Formula 4 car. It's to me, it's the perfect intro car into these winged Formula series. And it's got just enough power. It's got enough downforce. It's good. The Formula 3 car, which used to be the step up, not so much. That car's so hard to drive. It's unbelievable. But
you drive the Super Light at all?
I do. I love the Super Formula Light. But that car's got so much grip. It's even I can drive it.
I'm a lot better in it. These cars have a limit that it's really easy to step up to, and if you don't quite know where it is, you're done. And it's a really fun little cheat code. In fact, if you just put both pedals down, the thing starts pointing forwards again, but it costs you all a lot of time, and tire temps are very, very, very sensitive. They sort of have the Pirelli yellow mark. I don't know how close they actually are to an F1 tire construction, but I can tell you one thing, they get hot very easily, and then they just start panicking from underneath you.
Yeah, they... I love these little cars. I was fixing to say that apparently we have 2 cars running around out here tonight on the with the Goose livery on it. We've got
which one of them?
Yes, well, there's 2. I think there's well, my son is actually one of them. He's the number 25 car, and then I believe there's another one out there. That's got the Goose livery. That's what he was coming in here to tell me earlier when you and I were talking pre-race. But unless that person left. But so my son is he's been wanting to race in a race that I broadcast since I started broadcasting, but his schedule doesn't allow him to race too much anymore. He's a senior in high school, and he's about to head off to university to become a race engineer. He's going to study motorsports engineering. So we figured he'd join up here and he'd race a few races in this series. But then just a couple of months, we're going to be shipping him off to college. So
I remember my college experiences, and I don't remember if I remember them. Well, I like bits of it, and I'll say I didn't like others. It's taken me very far, though. Motorsport engineering sounds very, very exciting. Maybe we'll be hearing him on a TV team radio at some point down the line. And then all hell breaks loose then. Then it's just, you got a crazy mixed effect. But it's very, very challenging, the motorsport space. It's part of the reason I'm sitting in a hotel room talking about it. There's a lot more talent on the track, and anything that happens here is a lot more tiring than my day walking up hills. Looks like the track maybe.
He's oh, well, look at this. We're about to. It hadn't switched over yet so I can put the grid up yet, but it's getting close. Yeah, so he wants to be a Formula One engineer at this point. We'll see. Once you get in college, sometimes you change your direction a little bit. We'll see. He's, but as of now, his goal is to get his degree and then go to Europe and start trying to work his way up. Oh, there is another car out there, the 95. Who is that? Oh, okay. Oh, I'm going to struggle with that name for sure, especially that last name. That's German. You're going to have to help me with that one.
I have to do enough Swedish names in my life. The German
actually that may be Swedish, is it?
I got to see it.
You don't have the live timing pulled up, folks. Just so you know, how he is broadcasting this on probably he's looking at this one like a 6-inch screen, something like that. Hey, we're gridding up so we can put the grid up. There's all 6 of them, and they're
Clayton Sanchez on pole in the 777 with Ian Miller right behind Nate. Oh, that could be no, it's Scandinavian at the bottom. Nate Hallerstick sits in P3 with Manuel Dodson in 4th. Jessica Perry is in 5th with Caitlin Soderholm on 6th. Got it on the first try.
You did get it on the first try. I'm so jealous. All right, folks. Well, I think we're about ready to get going here. Let's make this happen. Oh, we're still waiting on. It looks like we're waiting on the second place car here to grid up. That's good. It'll give us time. That's a nice looking livery on this car. Oh, we're about to go green here.
Right, we do have the lights lining up. 5 and then to go. And we are green at Lime Rock. 5 hit the grid, and it's a very, very good launch from our pole position driver. The Goose gonna be chasing them down. An absolutely good affair. That's Sanchez off the line. Very, very effective. A big gap here, actually, between Sanchez. We're looking at Miller. We're looking at drivers a bit further back. That is Soderholm chasing down Perry. really big gaps already driven up by quite a few of these drivers. But this is going to be a very, very early phase. There's very, very little grip in these tyres. And we go into the hard braking chicane that's been put into this track. This could turn out to be one of the great passing opportunities, but Miller's not going to get it done on the first time around. Now as we fly around the track and fly down the hill, there's a big draft opportunity here for Miller. 4/10 behind. It's about range if there's a good straight. So we head into Sam Posey's, but there's not too long to make it happen. The gap behind already a second. Miller is going to be trying to chase down Sanchez, who leads off to start the race.
Yeah, I think my son decided to start from the pits for some reason. I don't know what that was all about. Maybe he just forgot to fuel his car or something after qualifying. Who knows? But yeah, Sanchez is out in front. I think clearly one of the fastest cars in qualifying this morning, or this evening. I think we're going to probably end up with 2 packs here is what's going to happen, would be my guess. We're going to have a front pack of 2 or 3, and then a second pack is what's going to end up happening, I believe.
But end up getting lap cars around this time. I don't have the confidence to really push these super fast laps. There's a big gap between the 58 seconds and the 1 minute timers from Perry behind. Quite a long race, quite a lot of laps with sub-minute laps. We could be going around here almost up to 45 times as Miller has a good run, but you have to be very aggressive to make an outbreak into turn 1. It's not going to happen, but I think it is on Miller, and I think Miller is going to continually try and make this push throughout the race. It's going to be a back and forth trade. Miller's really, really looking excitable and really, really looking into position.
Sanchez
running wide, and that's going to open up side by side. Should be a clean outbreak into the chicane.
Yeah, he did. He got a little wide there right off the track, and Ian Miller just slid right on through there. That was the opportunity Ian was waiting on.
I think Sanchez is also faster. The big advantage to the driver that's behind on this track. You get a good draft down this start finish. Down Posey straight, much longer than it looks on this camera. But it's very hard to get into turn 1. You've got to be very, very brave, very, very aggressive. Really, the chicane up ahead is the better chance to make your move. Both drivers hugging the inside gently. I think Sanchez is losing time in that entry into turn 1. I think it will have to be a crazy, crazy dive bomb to make it happen. But Clayton, he is aggressive, and he does want to make it happen after that mistake. It's not quite this time. Watch the curbs on Miller. Watch the curbs on both. That's Sanchez backwards.
Yeah, the curbs on this track for these cars is a lot. Sports cars can handle them. This is some tough curbs around this track for these Formula 4. They bounce right over them, and it just terribly upsets those cars.
It's not even an upsetting curve. That's a big sausage turtle shell. They just stick on the inside and outside those chicanes, and that's going to bait in a lot of errors. Very easy to make those around here when you're pushing, but I think Miller's going to quite enjoy this push off the line for a while. 3 seconds behind, and Sanchez is going to have to make up those places. I think he will be able to make it up to P2, but the long run is still ahead.
I have to be honest. I am not a fan of the curbs here, and especially that particular curb, because it's in that chicane that they put in to the old classic Lime Rock Park is that final turn, that turn there. You come around and then you kind of launch over that hill. So they put that chicane in so that the cars didn't launch over that hill. But I loved that aspect of Lime Rock, and so I'm not a fan of that chicane. And then on top of that, that horrible curb is there, which makes it even worse. I mean,
flying up that hill will mess me up as well. You get a lot of weightlessness up the top if you cut that chicane. It's very, very, very hard in these cars, but it is an absolute thrill. I've taken the Lotus 79 around here on the no chicanes layout. You get a bit more passing going into the chicane, though, if you can avoid the absolutely horrific turtle shells on either end. Good laps being laid down, but I think those drivers have slowed themselves down just a bit. Miller was fast as a 51.1, now a 51.3. Further back, Nate Hallerstick has got to be quite happy to be in this position and has to try and keep that 3.5-second gap open to Sanchez. Fastest of the race, as I said, drivers are slowing down. Miller with a 51.1. Margins are tight here with sub-minute laps. I mean, how many do you think there's going to be? Maybe a rap has a prediction, but could be up to 50.
Yeah, I mean, we're at 51-second laps. We're certainly gonna launch log a lot of them. Yeah, that's interesting. I almost wish that there was some kind of competition caution in this race or something that was going to close this field back up once or twice. Something. That's some curb. Oh, that is some nasty curbs right there. This is going to be a long race if they're going to stay spread 2 and 3 seconds apart. It's basically just basically hot lapping at that point. So we got a little incident happened earlier. I'm going to pop back and take a look at that since we got a second. Let's see. We'll pick us a good camera before I do that. Let's see what it looks like from the chopper cam. Oh, well, let me play it at full speed instead. There we go. Oh, yeah, that happens. Is that it? Oh, no, there it is. Yeah, that turn will get you.
Home. Those are the tires getting hot, and that's the rear end getting lively, as I discussed earlier on. This car's rear end just absolutely just get a little bit loose and a little bit away from the panel again. Those tires are on absolute fire, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, situations just sort of get the grass off and just have a slow rejoin and just be careful as you get it back together. I hope there's not a ridiculous disqualification on incidents in this race. You'll never really know until you see it happen.
Yeah.
Home was able to return to the track eventually.
I think there was a 15 incident thing, but I don't think it was a disqualification. It may be just a warning. I remember seeing something about it when I was glancing over the rules, But I think, that would be a bad situation. Give my son some airtime since, he's running in fourth. So he did have a 51.6, though, which is, I guess, the second fastest lap of the race. No. Yeah, second fastest. Yeah, good for him. I mean, he's pretty quick, actually. He just doesn't drive anymore. His senior year's been crazy busy. He's way faster than I am, though. And last night was his prom, so he didn't get in until about 2 o'clock in the morning. And I went beating on his door about 30 minutes before qualifying started and said, "You probably want to get up so you can get some practice in." He was like, "I got to eat. My hands are shaking."
My hands hurt. My hands hurt after too many laps around here. They hurt on my new wheel. I upgraded to myself to a Moser R5, and it just absolutely rips me to shreds. I'm barely used to it. And I can be fast, but I just don't have the concentration to make 45 minutes of racing really work. It's why we saw those sort of like unforced errors early on in the race with the top two drivers all going wide and making errors on the chicanes. It's going to take one error between Miller and Hallerstick behind, and that's it. The position's given up again. You're just going to have to hope that they do it again. And while racing around hoping for mistakes is viable, it's not really what you want to be in.
No, you know what I'm going to suggest next week? I'm going to suggest that they cut this race into 2 separate races at least, and go with like 2 20-minute races or something like that, where are 15 out of 20, and that way, say the qualifying sets the grid for the first race, and then finishing order sets the grid for the second race. That way the faster cars have got to come through the field, and that way it also gives a chance to bunch the cars back up, and restart the field, which would make much more entertaining to watch. Don't you agree?
I do prefer the quick sprint races all the time. I don't always just have the ability to grind through 40 minutes of formula without just, messing it up myself. I think when you get the drivers close and you just keep re-racking it and rerunning it, more crazy stuff happens for us at home, and also the drivers are very much more on their feet. these F4 cars, very difficult using their sprint races, although I got to say this is still shorter than many a race. So maybe I am being a little bit, I'm being a little bit of an entitled tech zoomer at the same time. I know my attention span's been cooked. I've got an old person over here who's going to tell me the way.
Yeah, I got a feeling that probably most of the people in this race are zoomers too, would be my guess. I don't know that to be a fact, but I certainly know that my son is. I think Jessica is. I'm not 100% sure, but I think for the most part it's probably, your age or younger. So
26.
So yeah, so I think that kind of format would also work better, like you said, for attention spans too. But it just makes it more fun. I mean, because right now this pack is so spread out right now that it's entirely possible, short of an accident, that none of these cars will see each other the rest of the race.
I think we'll definitely be getting some lap traffic. Miller's managed to pull up 3 seconds on Hallerstick, but Sanchez hasn't been able to make up that time in kind. And I gotta say, Sanchez is going to need to do quite a bit more pushing, I think, to end up in the right place at the right time. Every position means points, and points don't quite mean prizes, but points are still fun to get nonetheless. Surprised that Soderholm lost 2 laps recently. There may have been another incident to send out back, and at that point it's just sort of hanging on, as it actually looked like Miller took an off-road there. Only he didn't, but like it just sort of, the angle just sort of made me think, where's he going? What directions is he traveling in?
By the way, I saw Caitlin in the pits earlier, so I think that's probably where
that's free.
Yeah, because I looked up and saw that Caitlin was in the pits, so I figured maybe another incident had occurred and needed to go get some work done or something like that. Because if you notice, well, you're not looking at live timing. She had a minute 39-second pit stop, so there was obviously some repairs there.
I'd be looking at live timing if I had it, all right? But my link right now doesn't work, so I'm just hanging on with all I've got and to the action I see on the tower. That's your wake-up call. Listen, every broadcast I ever do is like a comedy of errors that you just don't get to find out about. So, I'm not you on the spot. Everything's a catastrophe all the time.
So the live timing link I sent you did not work.
I've got a black screen.
That's curious. Let me see. Tell you what I'm going to do. Since you're lead broadcasting and all I've got to do is switch around some cameras and stuff, change people every now and then, I'm going to send it to myself and see if I can.
Sanchez has pulled a second in on Hallerstick, so I think me talking about it has probably manifested this one into existence. It is a battle we will see before the end of the race. About 30 minutes to go, just over. Clayton Sanchez has been fast. He's going to need to put it down and not make another mistake to claim second. Everyone in identical cars with fixed setups, of course, so they're working to just use whatever they can in their driving skill. Very, very little between them. Now 1.6 seconds. This gap is going to keep shrinking down with time.
No, I agree. I think that is, well, of course, there was a product of that incident that happened early in the race. But I think, let's see here, if I can figure out what I'm doing, which is scary, put that up, and that'll give us an idea of the battle between all those cars right there, and if they're gaining or losing on each other.
Going to keep it. Well, it was 2 seconds. Now it's 1.5, and as I finished the sentence, it became 1.2. Sanchez not in the draft range yet, but it feels like every corner Clayton's inching closer, and that means every corner is going to be a chance to make it happen. And will it be turn 1, or will it be the chicane again? That's the easier spot to do it, but also it's quite hard to run side by side there without risk of death. Going to be keeping an eye on this when it's within 1 second. That's when I think it becomes real scary. And as I say that, here we go, 1 second in it. It feels like every corner Sanchez is just a little bit faster.
Yeah, Sanchez is definitely closing up here pretty fast. It's down to just barely over a second, which is great. I mean, we needed this for sure. So
it's like I can will it into existence. I have a commentator's curse and a commentator's blessing. I have to pass it down wisely. You learn these skills with time, you know?
Yes.
Like, how bad is your...
Well, my live timing link's not working. Can you will that? Can you will that into existence?
I don't know. I don't FDK. Talk to the hand. The FDK isn't listening.
Yeah,
0.7. Gonna approach 0.5 at the end of this straight. Gonna be dived even further into 0.4. That's quite a wide entry for Clayton Sanchez. It's going to be a draft down this next straight, and this could be the one that secures it. And at that point, it's just a raw chase.
Yeah, it's
widened up a little bit more. Oh, I don't know if it'll be this time.
Here, let's switch to this one. It's a better view here. Yeah, that'll be much better there. Let's see. He's right there now. Man alive. This is going to be it right here, I think.
Straight. I hope this gets cleared before turn 1, because otherwise this starts to become scary. Looks like it is going to be just about...
Oh, no!
It's going to happen all again. Bit of grass on the outside for Clayton Sanchez on those right side wheels. That's wide over.
Goodness.
One is scary around here, and Sanchez is going to have to do it again from 5, and Johnson isn't even miles off.
He's fine. He literally got there and then put it back 5 seconds. Oh my goodness!
You know, have you seen any incidents with Jessica Perry now in the pit?
Yes, just now she apparently she did have a little incident here. Let's go back and take a look at it.
It's all kicking off.
Oh, there it goes.
It's so easy to one ride. Oh, that is a dead.
That was a big hit. That was a big hit right there. Yeah, I think that was an incident of she got on the curb, and then that sent her wide into the grass, and that was all it took. So she catches the curb there. That kicked her wide out there, and then that was it. Once she got that's a big hit right there. That'll be unless they have a fast repair, that's going to be quite a significant repair job there.
Surprised she couldn't drive it to the pits. Maybe it was that wrecked. The tow is also going to add quite a bit of time to that process. I saw the driver behind have to take avoiding action as Clayton Sanchez now trying to get around some of these lap cars. Both one down. Soderholm's actually managed to make a lap back. Or is that? No, that's the interval. There was a lap down on a lap down. Makes sense. 5 seconds. He can do it again. Another pit entry there.
Who was that? Oh, that was Jessica going into the pits. Okay. Yeah.
Just no, she towed the first time. Is she running it in again?
It looked like it. Yeah. Yeah, she's back in the pits again. Yep. I don't know. That's interesting. So I noticed my son was starting to close in on Clayton a little bit after that spin, but I think Clayton's got a little more speed. On him, but Clayton's he's cutting that lead back that Nate has again. He's chopped 2 seconds off of it, almost 3 now.
Miller's probably the happiest of what's gone on right now, but you're very, very right.
No.
The speed is there. It will be caught in time. The only question is, will the pass be made safely this time? Thankfully, Sanchez has kept out of the other cars in the time. We don't want to see drama on week 1 here at Lime Rock, even though this track does like to produce it at times.
Especially turn 1. That turn 1 is a hard, that's a tough turn, you know. It's almost like a double apex turn, but it's not. But you got to carry a ridiculous amount of speed in to roll the whole corner. It's a tough corner.
That rear end, man. I'm just going to complain about the rear end now. I'm actually happy I'm not home, so I don't need to deal with the rear end of the F4. Just like coming out and wrecking me. 25 minutes to go. Sounds about right.
I have to say it's gone by a little quicker than I thought. It's kind of turned into a Jim and Howie podcast, but that's okay.
Prize, and that must mean we're having fun in the seats here, and that's better than nothing at all. 2 seconds on 3 seconds. Mellor's got an easy win unless there's a mistake. Don't make me commentators curse on that one, thank you very much. 2 seconds back, it's going to be quite a few laps until that happens, but when Sanchez has a good corner, it is a blinder of a corner. What a good entry up to the chicane. It's very easy to be very uncertain in there and just sort of back off slower than you need to, flying around, taking a little bit of that curb, a little bit of a bump. Now all the way down the hill, you get lots of exit speed if you executed this properly, but I think that bump might have just prevented it from being the best.
I see Caitlin had another incident, but I'm not gonna. No need to go back and focus on all those. Oh no, he's off again. Man, turn one is eating him up.
You've got the curse. It's tied up. You said incident, and then within literal half a second, Clayton Sanchez is in the grass.
I was talking about somebody else's incident.
It's a bit like saying caution in a NASCAR race. You know what's going to happen.
You can say caution all you want. We're not going to get one here.
Don't say fire in a crowded theater. Don't say incident or caution in an iRacing broadcast.
Right.
Rule.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, here, let's go up here and take a look at Ian Miller a little bit here. Maybe that's some beautiful trees. That's a good job with the cameras there, iRacing. Get a look at Ian. Ian's not getting much TV time because he's so far up there and separated from the world. So we'll give him.
It takes having good laps to be a winner. In that lovely Trevor Project cars, it runs around. It probably is going to be 50+ laps. We're 26 in as we about hit the halfway mark on time. 18-second gap. Had to do quite a bit of lapping already. How many is he going to make it out? Fastest lap was a 51.002. Make that a 50.9. I was about to ask, when is someone going to break the 50 mark? And it happens before I even will it into existence.
It did. So I thought I'd pull this up just so we could take a look at his past few laps. I mean, you talk about good, consistent laps, man. Look at those laps. I mean, all within 0.2 of each other. That's fantastic. That's fantastic right there. That's some really good lap time. I mean, consistent. Wow. That's impressive. Well, he is an A-class driver, and it shows. Of course, so is Clayton, which I got to give Clayton. Clayton's fast. He just he can't seem to hold on to it when he gets close. Pushes a little too hard, maybe. So Ian's coming up on the back of somebody here. Wonder why Manuel pitted. Oh, that's interesting.
I don't know if they're short these cars. I don't know.
45 minutes, maybe so. Yeah, they probably do have to pit before a 45-minute race.
No one runs an F4 car for 40 minutes.
So, yeah, I know. They don't. That's true.
One of my racing's big mysteries, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Nobody does run an F4 car for that's very true.
We'll find out if Miller stops. Nah, they used to be able to make 30 minutes in the Open Series without any problem. So
hey, we'll see. I mean, we are going to see. Yeah, I have to say though, seeing his lap times was pretty impressive. That kind of surprised me. All right, let's take a look back here. Well, it's a mile back to between Ian and Nate.
But I see, yeah, I don't, Nate isn't hitting Ian. unless there's a horrible mistake, which could happen. But Sanchez with the fastest so far, 1.4 seconds. Are we going to have a three-peat? It takes pace to do well, but it also takes consistency and patience. And there's been some good, clean racing and good, clean overtaking, but a lot of little accidents here or there, which are going to start to build up under pressure now. These fairly long races, they do induce fatigue. They do induce some tiredness, especially on a track that is just so fast. It just lacks these reliable brake markers. When you use a tree on the left-hand side for the chicane. Yeah, me too.
That's very true. This track does not have a lot of let up time. I mean, you get that little break down the straightaway, and that's it. The rest of the time, you're grinding. And by the way, you said you got an R5 wheelbase. That's what I set Manuel up with to go to take to college with him.
Oh, but you better become 10K while in college.
I know, right? I got him a little fold. He could fold the whole rig up and slide it under his bed.
I just put it on my desk. I just let it shake my desk around, just like fling everything off. Every single race is like an exercise in what survives on my desk.
Yeah, that thing will shake a desk apart. So let's see.
It kind of does. I've got like a bad standing desk on my Kia that you can like move up and down, and it drives me crazy. And one day I'm going to throw it in the trash, but until then, my Mozart R5 is going to destroy it. I don't have the space for a rig. I mean, it'll probably drive me crazy. Clayton Sanchez hasn't made up too much time in the last few laps, still sitting at a 1.5. I think it's due and I think it's inevitable, but it's going to take good laps and not complacency, unless, of course, he is just sort of relaxing a bit, trying not to make the same mistake again. You're probably only going to get a few more chances if you keep crashing it hard. Thankfully, it hasn't hit the wall yet, but a few have already today. Good fast lap, fastest. That is Nate's fastest. 51.2, still quite far off the fastest of the race, but it's good enough for now, beating up at 51.4 on the last time around.
Yeah, that's he definitely is closing a little bit again. But the interesting thing is, I mean, Ian is just sitting out there turning those same laps every time. That's hard to do when you're out there running by yourself like that, which I am thankful that everyone that did show up to support this race, and we're going to work hard to get the field bigger for next week. I think a few changes to the format will help.
You're just like you. I can tell you're pushing. You're using your power here. You're using your influence to make it happen. 15 minutes to go. This will be about the rate length of F4 fixed, and now Sanchez with the fastest of the race is ready to strike. I'm not sure if it's going to quite be this turn. Not quite the aggressive dive bomb, but I think the Samposi straight's going to make this no problem if the exits are good this time around. The draft has been very, very powerful. We've seen it already. Be careful on the outside of turn one, Sanchez. We want to see a wrap again. 22 seconds now, the gap ahead. It's almost insurmountable. But maybe Nate will hold him to the outside, knowing that this could happen again the long way around. Holds the middle of the track. Not really giving any space. It's a good defense. It's really, really forcing Clayton Sanchez to be patient here in the back. Still just a little bit to go. Going into the next straight, this chicane, it could be the make or break. I don't know if the exit's good enough.
Yeah, he didn't get through there good enough to make the move here, I don't think. But the thing is, that was an absolutely perfect defensive line through turn one by Nate. He didn't leave him enough room on the inside. He would certainly slide up there, and he's by this point he's got to be skittish about going around the outside of turn one, considering he spun twice there already. I don't know if I was Nate, I'd pin it down on the bottom and make him go outside because. Oh, he got a nice run there, though.
Actually, I'm surprised Sanchez just didn't get the draft that time either. The exit's really good here. If he doesn't check up, this could be the run. There is the checkup. Doesn't want to run into the rear. I like the respect being shown. I think he just knows he has a lot of time now. 15 minutes to go. And it's going to be a hard overtaking place, actually, looking at the size of these cars. I'm used to sending monsters up the inside and door banging with someone. Another run down the hill. Yes, please, waiter. It's all about that exit as you enter down the hill, because that's going to influence how much draft you get.
Yeah, and it's, it's using all the track there coming through the last turn. He's got the inside line here. See if he can hold it, though. That's a tough angle. Oh, he's going to make it work.
That's the move. Now we need to hold on to that position for 15 minutes and not make another big error. Nate's going to enjoy that P3, and he's probably going to enjoy having held off Sanchez for that long, but he's only going to get 1 or 2 more chances to make it back. He is within good range if he gets a good uphill through the chicanes. It really looks like drivers are making mistakes from that angle. It really looks like they're messing it up.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's a kind of a funky camera angle, Yeah, let's go back and take a look at that Sanchez pass from the air here. He just drove it in there. My concern was he was so shallow that he was going to wash up, which he did. He just didn't. He was able to hold on to it and make it work. That was a good pass. That draft is strong though, and you can believe that that Nate's sitting there thinking he's going to use that draft next time around.
And it looks like the move's been done, and the move is clear. 1 second already up the hill, and a 1 second doesn't look like very much around here, as Sanchez is going to fly away. 23 seconds. You'd have to be a bit of a god to make up that sort of time on a very consistent Ian Miller who's still doing 51 zeros. I'll be honest. I'm not going to count on it, but Miller could still make a mistake up ahead. Sanchez could make a mistake in the middle of this race. It's pretty much now just going to be a bit of a hot lapping competition. Drivers trying to make sure that they don't mess up and that they hold what they have, but we've seen mistakes kick off already.
I mean, Sanchez is lapping pretty fast, so I guess the next question is, are they, do they have to pit? Because I'm interested to find out why Manuel pitted, because I did not see any incident where he went off track and would have damaged his car. So, was he just trying to do an undercut, and pit early? So I don't know if there's a fuel stop involved, anything can happen, because then that brings in, pit road speeding penalties and all that kind of stuff. But, I guess we'll see.
You know what? The more time goes on, the more I think I'm a field doomer. I feel like actually it probably isn't a race that requires it. Maybe Dodson wanted a challenge. I mean, who knows? He stayed on the same lap. Makes you think.
Yeah, well, either that or he burned his tires off his car and he had to go get some new tires. That's possible too. I'm telling you, he hasn't driven much, man, at all. He hasn't driven. Oh, yeah, none. I mean, it's just, this the end of your senior year of high school. It's just been crazy. Apparently that's a famous meme or something.
It's the goose game. Show us the goose for a bit. I want to.
Let me see.
I got to watch a lot of it in the pre-race, but we haven't really got to see it with the audience. It's a untitled goose game. It's a game where you're just a goose and you're really trying to bother people. Like you're trying to you have like a checklist of ways to like ruin people's days, and you have to get them all done in time. And that is the goose from the game. He just carries things around with him. And if he has a knife, he's probably considering violence. You want to be a bit careful about that.
So I think, let me see if I can get that camera angle. I think peace was never an option on the rear wing. Look. Yeah, it says peace was never an option on the rear wing.
He never has been. Not when the goose is in town. The goose chooses violence every day. He wakes up and he goes for it.
Apparently. I tried to talk him into another livery. He's like, I like the goose livery. And so the other livery, if it wasn't going to be the goose, it was going to be the birds aren't real livery.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a very good one.
Yeah, he loves the birds aren't real livery. He just couldn't find it for the F4 car.
Manuel's just tied to, like, you know, ducks and geese and things like that. I respect the theme there. I just run Hatsune Miku with anything that I'm allowed to.
He does like birds. That's you know, I don't know if you even knew this, but you know, I do wildlife photography, so he's been out photographing birds with me a lot. So
yeah, but like, then if he believes they're not real, then, you know, that's a bit self-contradictory.
Well, no, he's out there trying to, you know, prove that they're robots or something.
If it flies, it spies, Jim.
That's exactly.
You will understand. The U.S. government killed all of them.
No, I got it.
Very important. It's very important that the proof is spread. Nate Alistair's not completely dropped off entirely. Well, he's dropping off bit by bit, but a bad lapse from Sanchez puts him in the draft again, I think. Honestly, I would have thought this would be 2 seconds plus by now.
Yeah, it looks like they're coming up on. Is that man? Yeah, I guess they're coming up on manual. No, who's that? Let me see. Go to Clayton. Yeah, that's manual in front of them. So they're about to lap manual. He's hanging on.
Just about now 2 seconds. Couple bad corners, and that looks like it's more that traffic almost in the way. Dodson sets a session fastest for himself, but still getting caught up to by Sanchez, and who will have to try and make that pass down. Miller's obviously been flying past people 51.01, still getting those like nearly sub 51 laps. Even at this point, tire is not really a factor here. I'll tell you that. I know in these cars, these tires are pretty hard. They don't really mess with you too bad in the F4 at the very least. I know in the SFL, 45 minutes can really start to sort of wear you out a little bit, but these should have some good longevity in them, and as long as you're not sliding them around, that also helps.
Yeah, and as the fuel load gets lighter and lighter, it's going to get easier too, so... I'm gonna try something.
Fuel's in the back. That will make the back of the rear lighter. When the rear is lighter, the car does spin just a little bit more.
You're definitely a believer in the rear end of these cars jumping around.
Well, I can tell you, it definitely slides around more in any car when the rear is lighter. Have you ever driven like an endurance race, the rear end just suddenly decides like, I'm light now, I'm not gonna have any fun anymore? Road America 500 was fun.
You did it? You did it?
Yeah. We made it top 10.
Oh, nice, man. I wanted to. I didn't have. I didn't put together a group, so I didn't do it. But I wanted to. I love that. Did you drive the Audi or the Nissan?
We were in the Nissan. It's a race where if you're crazy enough, you can solo it. We only did it with 2. You only really need 1 teammate to make it go. You just have to avoid the moving bricks.
How long was the actual? Did it take you to do the 500 laps?
Last about 4.5 hours.
Oh, that's not bad. Okay, I was thinking it was more like 8.
If you're crazy, you're allowed to solo it. I know some crazy people that did.
Well, I solo the Nürburgring endurance races all the time. They're 4 hours, so
I've yet to even touch one.
I love that.
I want to do one, but like, woe is me. I mean, I just ended up in Monaco. How could that have happened? I mean,
there goes, man. Clayton got loose. The front end got wiggly on Clayton, and then Manuel ran off track. I guess saw him twitching and got nervous or something, and he took.
Now, Halastick is within 0.6 of a second, and it could kick off again. There's only 5 minutes to make it happen, though. And yeah, we have approached over 40, 45 laps. We're going to be over 50 by the end of this. Could even approach the 60s. Needs to stay in this draft and needs to make sure that that gap does not expand to a second, or it could all be over if not for another mistake. And Hannah-Stick wants to make this pass happen on track, I think.
Yeah, I think he's well, it'd be a nice comeback for him to recover, you know. Oh no. Boy, as soon as we start talking about it, it's like we just jinx it.
What happens if we stare too much at intervals?
Yeah, that's probably true. Well, instead of just staring right at him, we'll go back up and take a look at Ian for a second. Oh, speaking of off track, hang on.
Ian Miller, no. Ian Miller, no. It's still 26 seconds to work with. It would take a real monster crash to give up that lead, but that's the first sign we've seen of a mistake. Could have been plenty more. The great thing about being off camera is you can make mistakes, and we just don't like call you on it.
Indeed, yes. Yeah, I'm watching the thing though. If he'd have popped up with something like that, I think I would have noticed. But you know, because we get the little incident reports for people that don't know. They tells us when an incident or off track has occurred or a crash or whatever, and that's one of the first from him tonight. But like you said, it didn't cut into his gap too much. I mean, a little, but.
It's what happens when you build the gap of the century. Oh, and on the topic of gaps, Sanchez seems to have done it again. Not too many laps to go now. We're definitely not going to approach 60. What was I talking about? 60? Going to hit something around like 54, 55? I don't have the predictor on me. And now, it's going to be...
Poor you. You're sitting in a hotel in the French Riviera and you don't have your lap predictor with you. What a bummer. I feel so bad for you.
It's 10 p.m. I'm disturbing the neighbors. It's the budget. People don't want to be bothered.
Look, do you think that they care? It's the budget hotel. Can you imagine what they hear through those walls?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have heard things through walls in hotels before, but not in this one. So.
Yes, well, it's probably a time that I was one of the people creating the noise. Who knows?
I was not expecting to get this personal on you do whatever you want on your channel. You write the rules, Jim.
That's right.
You can just do it. Like, who's going to stop you?
Well, I can tell you this. I'm going to be probably a little, I probably will allow some mild cursing from time to time. We don't have children watching this, so we're all right.
I gotta hit it when I think it's appropriate. Like, obviously, like, it's gotta like really fit. It's gotta really fit. If you throw it around too much, it loses its meaning. So
no, absolutely. Just occasionally, like the occasional whatever, holy, because somebody pulled off a great move. It looks like we've got Jessica and Caitlin have retired from the race, Caitlin's been retired now, I guess, for a while.
And Hannah-Stick is dropping significantly.
Oh, no.
I think there were fuel problems. I think Hannah-Stick might have had some fuel problems because he was running very, very slow and he's run out of fuel on the pit entry. There's a chance that the car may have been under fuel because I don't think it's completely mandatory.
Hold on, let's see.
If you under fuel it, but like, he was dropping back seconds at this point.
Okay, so he went off track here, and I'm just going to follow him around because he had several little incidents on this lap. All right, so I'm going to jump forward to...
I think...
Yeah, he had to tow. Yeah, he had to tow.
Was losing so much time that that's the engine sputtering in and out bit by bit.
Yep.
And then probably just ran out on entry because you don't just tow when you're sitting right there unless there's no other way. I mean, nothing got wrecked on the car. That was the lap before.
Oh. Never mind then. So I need to.
Definitely, that was probably a fuel problem. Like, yeah, you can just reverse out of there if your car moves. I mean,
Yeah,
but the car's not moving.
Let's do this.
Like,
Nice.
that's slow.
And oh yeah, no, he's. Oh.
And then, like, why wouldn't you reverse? You know, it's obvious because the car is going to do it. You know, it's not going to go anywhere.
I don't know. That's
otherwise,
weird.
you just. I think with these may be open sets that mean that if you just like don't put enough in the car to start, then you've made a mistake. You know, you have to account for the fact that the sets might not be suited for 45 minutes, even if the car can carry a whole lot more. And Ian Miller is someone that has been able to adjust that car and make it work for the races. He crosses the line, dominant winner here at Lime Rock.
I thought we were going to get one more there. He might have slowed up a little bit there to. No, I guess not. Thought he might have slowed up to end the race there. So Clayton's going to take second here. Significantly far back, though. Good job. He's still running it, though. But he has taken the checkered for sure. There's Clayton coming across the line in second. And there's Manuel pulling off a third, rounding out the back there. Well, looks like Manuel getting into fuel earlier in the race ended up serving him well. He did pick up a spot out of that. So, but the interesting part is Ian did not have to fuel his car.
I think,
and neither did Clayton.
I think the cars might have open setups, and the F4 can hold enough fuel, but it's possibly the case. X might not actually have enough unless you've thought about it.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Well, all right.
We may have to talk to some of these drivers later as they pull into pit road and celebrate some of these results. Or commiserating them. So, surprised for that, P2.
All right, let's see here. I think see if we have results yet or not. We might. Yep, they are official.
Ian Miller takes home the win with Clayton Sanchez in P2. Michael Dodson in 3. Nick Haslick in 4 with Jessica Perry in 5th. And Caitlin Soderholm retiring before the end of the race. Looks like we have at least one to talk to. I'm not quite sure about all the names around it. So you can lead and run this.
Okay. I don't even know where we're at. So. Have we? Did you pull someone in, or do I want you to do that? I guess I'm probably going to need to do that.
You're going to have to do that.
Yep. Let me get there. I was not prepared at all.
It happens.
Do we have somebody? Oh, we do. Yeah. Let's see. I'm not. Here we go. All right. So by your Discord name, I absolutely have no idea who you are. So reveal to us who you are first of all, and we'll go from there.
I am Ian Miller.
Hey, Ian Miller. All right. Well, you had a nice run out there tonight, Ian. You just kind of pulled away there, and it seemed to all work for you tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I just worked on trying to take care of the tires, making sure that they would be consistent through the stint, and thankfully that worked out for me.
Consistent is a great word because that's exactly what you're doing. We pulled up your 5 laps, not average, but we show five of your laps all together there, and man, you were within 0.2 of a second, just lap after lap after lap. Did you have to change the fuel load in your car so that you did not have to stop and fuel?
Yeah, I ended up having to, the setup had 4 gallons in it, and I put 8.2.
Okay.
And I just had to tweak some of the roll bar offsets to make up for it, but otherwise, yeah. No,
so how much fuel did you end up finishing with?
0.8 gallons. So another 4 or 5 laps left.
Yeah. Okay, because they were, I know several people had to pit, but you and Clayton did not, and it looked like Nate was in 3rd place late in the race, and it looked like he might have had a fuel sputtering issue and then got into a little trouble and ran out before he got into pit road. So, but that was a nice win tonight. We just got to get a few more people to show up for the series. I'm gonna I'm gonna talk to Jessica. Let me get your opinion about this because I know you rode around out there for pretty much for 45 minutes without another car around you. I'm gonna talk to her about possibly maybe changing it to 2 20-minute races or something. That way, qualifying sets the grid for the first race, and then the finishing order in the first race, maybe we could flip it around and put the fast cars in the back. What do you think about something like that as opposed to just a straight 45-minute race like this?
I mean, there was certainly it would double the fuel strategy, which I don't mind all that
Right.
much. I mean, these cars can obviously make a good hour-long race even on one tank of gas by and large. So I think that could be a good time.
I mean, if nothing else, it'll give the field a chance to close back up one time anyway, and
Right. Yeah.
and I mean, it's be different if we had 20, 25 cars out here, but right now we with just as few cars as we have, doing that was, even if you had a bad run in the first race, you still get to come back with a good fresh car in the second race, so maybe something like that. I'm gonna talk to her about it and see what she thinks. But hey, congratulations on your run tonight, and so you got anybody you want to shout out to while we got you in here?
Yeah, I'll shout out my lovely wife for letting me take up so much of our time and money doing this stuff.
There you go.
And yeah, I think that's just about everyone. Thank you, Jessica, for putting on a good race.
Yeah, and hey, spread the word for us. Let's try to get a few more drivers in here. It's a good time slot, so we should be able to, fill this field up a little more. So, but good, congratulations, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. All right, thanks. Well, it looks like we have Manuel here. We can bring him in since the Goose was out there wreaking havoc, but mostly on your own off tracks.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, did you forget to add extra fuel to your car at the beginning of the race?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I had to pit to get some more fuel.
Well, it actually worked out for you in the end because that helped you get third place, because I believe the second place or the third place guy that was running in third ran out of fuel. So
Yeah, he did.
So but I think I was just telling Ian, the gentleman who won the race, I was thinking about maybe talking to her about switching this to 2 20-minute races. That way, how you finish in the first race, we reverse the order. So if you finish up front, you got to start in the back for the second race. Maybe add some fun, make it a little more exciting than just a straight 40-minute run. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think that would work pretty well. Yeah, I think it would be pretty fun.
And by the way, you can say hello to Howie. Howie's in here. I know you must feel horrible for Howie since he's sitting in a hotel in France and he just left the Formula E race in Monaco. I know you feel bad for him there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I feel horrible.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like, worries me. Too much walking.
Yeah, you got it tough. I don't know how you do it. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, it sounds horrible over there.
The screen just
right?
went black for I have no reason, no idea why.
Over. Everything is over. We're all released from my class.
Yeah, well, we're about done anyway. Manuel was going to be the last one we talked to anyway. So, all right. Well, Manuel, since we got you in here and you did get a podium finish tonight, you got anybody you want to shout out to since we have you in here?
No, not really, other than you and my girlfriend.
You better shout out to me.
Yeah, it's almost like you're the one who convinced me to join this league.
I did, indeed. So, all right. Well, it's good to see you out there getting a chance to race some. And maybe as your school schedule lightens up here towards the end, you'll be able to get some more racing in. So,
yeah, hopefully.
All right, man. We'll see you next week.
All right, see you next week.
All right.
See you later because we live in the same house.
Well, that's true. There's that. Yes. All right. So, Howie, I'm I have no idea why the screen went black, so we might as well go ahead and sign off since we have no screen
Racing's
left.
over. It's been cancelled. And like it's just being like, the development's over, we're done. Look, we've had a lot of fun, but it's so important for these sorts of communities and for these sorts of races to exist, and it's so important for people. Sometimes sim racing can feel a little bit hostile to LGBT people, and I think, and I'm part of that too, and it's very, very important. Not part of the hostility, I'd like to believe, part of the other side. And I think you do really, really need some great spaces to be around. These guys are great, and if I wasn't here, I might just be there. It's a lot of fun, and I recommend anyone join the community and check them out. Along with, there's plenty more in the space as well. We need to group together, and we need to make our voices heard.
Yes, absolutely, and and just like the league's slogan says, racing is for everyone. And this is a great safe space to do it in. So come join us if you happen to be watching this. Come race with us. It's a good place to race. All right, Howie, I appreciate it, and so I hope you have a great time tomorrow strolling the hills of Monaco. You poor thing, you.
I know, right? Like. You won't be able to get me without next week. I'll just be in my apartment.
I know it won't be near as exciting next week, but I do appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule this weekend to do this. It would have been really easy to say no, and I know the effort that you went to make sure you got back to your hotel after your day, whereas you could have stayed and eaten in Monaco or whatever, but you didn't.
You're just gonna rub it in.
I know. I appreciate it. I really do. And
working in here. Not working.
So, I do appreciate it, and I will talk to you soon, and we'll see. Hopefully, we'll see everyone else on the track next week.